That's crazy, though, because I feel like there's so much negativity or just like discussion around young women dating older men, and like we've this whole time had a president that dated a 21-year-old. I mean, can you imagine if a 21-year-old was a first lady right now? She'd be doing TikTok and OnlyFans. Like, that would not work.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the TomCast. I'm the Tominator, Tom Chericello. Today is August 29th. Good to be back here. We missed last week. I was on vacation. Hello, Morgan. How are you today?
I'm good. Glad to have you back, Tom.
Thank you. Joe is here with us. Hey, Joe.
How you doing? Been a while.
Right, welcome back.
Good seeing you again.
I was up in New Jersey. I say vacation. I had a trial. My first New Jersey trial for Tominator law. It went well.
It was a quasi-vacation.
My client was happy. Yeah. And then I met with some new clients up there for all the folks in New Jersey, Tominatorlaw.com. And then I went down to Jersey Shore, saw my brother-in-law and some of my old friends. Weather was perfect, like low 80s, no humidity.
Nice.
And the food was really good. Yeah. Went to an all-you-can-eat Brazilian steakhouse one night. That was good.
Those are great. Yeah, we need a Tominator Law bonding vacation.
We had a Tominator Law New Jersey
Shore.
Party. And shout out to Darcy's Tavern in Bradley Beach, New Jersey. My brother-in-law, Tom, owns it. And we had a great time there for a couple days. Shout out to Wawa. They still have not responded to my offers of sponsorship, but I'm loyal to them anyway. Got my Wawa fountain drink. All right, this is, as I said, Thursday, August 29th. Labor Day weekend is right here, starting for us probably in about an hour. A long weekend.
Are we off Monday?
Yep, we're off Monday.
Off Monday.
Cool.
Oh, nice.
Everybody gets to do, you have to work Sunday. No.
I'll meet you at the bar Monday, 9 a.m.
So we can get shit face.
Labor Day is always on the first Monday in September by law. It's considered the unofficial end of summer. Of course, we're coming to you from Sarasota, Florida, so summer for us is a lot longer. Nobody wears white after Labor Day.
So can I not wear my white strong roofing shirt? Come on.
That's an antiquated tradition.
You just got those in.
I made it. Do you like
nice,
it?
Nice.
That's nice.
A lot of girls want
Going back to like
those.
the 1800s.
The whole shitload of them want.
You didn't wear white in like a high society in like the 1900s after Labor Day because no one lived in the South and West. Everybody lived in Northeast and Midwest. Mm-hmm. And so that's an old tradition. Labor Day was signed into law by Grover Cleveland, who was president in 1894 when he made it a federal holiday. As I mentioned in past episodes, I love to study history. You know, I never majored in history. Grover Cleveland was the only U.S. president to be elected to 2 non-consecutive terms. Like he was president, then he ran again and lost, then he ran again and won. Now, if Donald Trump wins in November, he would be the second one.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like it's going to happen.
Well, we'll see. It's going to be close.
Knock on wood.
He just barely lost the middle election. Similar situation as Trump. Cleveland was an interesting guy. He was born and died in New Jersey. He's the only president ever born in New Jersey, my home state, my former state. Florida's my home state now. But his picture's on the $1,000 bill. They don't make $1,000 bills anymore. They stopped printing them in 1945, and the government started destroying them in 1969.
Don't you have one?
I don't have 1,000.
He had a 500.
Is that what my dad had?
He had a $500 one.
My dad has one.
Does he still got it?
I sold the $500
I'm about to
bill.
go find it.
Yeah.
And me and Joe had this bar that we used to frequent. We had a regular bartender.
Well, you bought it right in front of me.
She got married and doesn't work there anymore. So me, Joe, and a friend of ours, Gary, were in there one day, and I was picking up the tab, and I give her the $500 bill, and she said, "Tom, save your fake money and give me." I wasn't
It
going to
probably
really.
looked like Monopoly money, actually.
It was a real bill.
I'm surprised they got rid of the 1,000.
I'm going to find this. I swear my dad has one. He sent me photos.
So Cleveland's on the $1,000 bill.
Cool.
You could still buy them like online at collectors.
How much are they?
Probably at least $2,000, depending on condition, maybe more.
$500 bills at $2,000 now.
$500 bills are worth not more than $1,000, but for whatever reason, like a $500 bill might be worth $2,000, a $1,000 bill might be worth $2,500. You would think it would be a lot higher.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Cleveland was one of only 2 presidents who was a bachelor when he was elected. The other was James Buchanan, who many historians feel was gay. Like, there's never been an openly gay president, but a lot
How
of
about that? Maybe we've had a gay president. We've been supportive the whole time.
The odds are that we probably have, right? There's been 45 presidents.
I guarantee about 50% of them had some gay experiences.
So Cleveland wasn't gay, but he was a bachelor when he got elected, and he was 49, he married a 21-year-old while he was in office. Like, his wife was
huge. He was 3 times my size.
He was big. He died of a heart attack, but no surprise there.
Yeah. He was enormous.
That's crazy, though, because I feel like there's so much negativity or just like discussion around young women dating older men, and like we've this whole time had a president that dated a 21-year-old. I mean, can you imagine if a 21-year-old was a first lady right now? She'd be doing TikTok and OnlyFans. Like, that would not work.
Case in point,
she is still to this day the youngest first lady in American history was Mrs. Cleveland at 21 years. I don't think that record will ever be broken.
Now, was she on the hot scale? Did she work for you? Is that like, is she attractive?
She wasn't bad looking. No, she was like kind of really, the public loved her back in the day.
Okay.
And what's really kind of weird though is he was her father's lawyer, and her father died in a carriage accident. It was before he had cars, and so he handled her father's estate and supported her. Made sure her bills got paid.
Did they get together after the dad passed?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So that's kind of like. Some lawyers would say it's inappropriate. Like, you shouldn't be marrying your client's daughter.
But he was dead.
It's legal. It was dead.
That doesn't count anymore.
But so Cleveland was the one of only 2 presidents the only president to be married in the White House, because most presidents are all married before they go.
It's not necessarily a requirement to be married, right? They just kind of.
They say you have to. Like,
you look better. Oh, you're a family man, even though they're all cheating anyways. It doesn't even matter. But
I wonder what would happen now. Like, the world back in the day, if you were a lot of presidents picked their wife who would be a good first lady. Like Kennedy, they say, picked his wife for that reason. I don't know if that's true or not, but like it'd be interesting if like a confirmed bachelor ran in this day and age. Would people hold it against them?
I think it would be less of a distraction for the president to not have a family and kids. I mean, I don't think it's like bad. We shouldn't not have presidents that have families, but I mean, that's a lot, like they need to be focused on running the country. Now they have a wife that they're dealing with. Now they have screaming, crying kids, or just, like they need to spend time with their family. Or now these poor children are being neglected by their dad because he's the president. I'd rather just have a single guy. I think it makes more sense.
But it's funny, TV shows, anyone hire senators and all that stuff, they feel like it's more prim and proper to be married,
it's the stupid thing that I think back in the day, it was just a cultural thing. You look better being married, but I just think it's a distraction.
There have been a lot of politicians.
How do you manage that?
They want stability, I guess. They figure if you're married, you're stable.
You're not, though. Look at how many of these presidents have cheated in the White House and had scandals. So many of them. So they're sitting there doing shady shit anyways. Just be single and focus on running the country. You don't need to deal with a wife and kids. I mean, it's a lot, I wouldn't want to be married to a president. You're never going to hang out with me. Who's going to watch Netflix with me at night?
Do we want the president having sleepovers at the White House?
The White House.
I mean, I mean, but whatever. He's got to do what he's got to do to fulfill his needs. But at least he's not distracted during the day with all the things that do. I'm not saying having a family is negative, but that type of position, how do you have time for them? I think it's almost wrong to the family.
Probably had enough.
She probably is trying to get out, and now she can't.
Yeah.
So President Cleveland made Labor Day a federal holiday. His famous last words were, "I have tried so hard to do right." pretty simple, but really words to live by. I've tried so hard to do right. Even though he married a 21-year-old, and he had a son before he was married, which was kind of scandalous at that time, like to have a child when you weren't married back then.
Yeah. He
acknowledged the child. He said, that is my son.
Did he have a relationship with him? Did he help raising him or co-parenting?
I don't think so. I think the kid was kind of like,
typical man.
But he did try so hard to do right.
Yeah, really.
All right, enough about Labor Day. Everybody, I say this every holiday, probably a lot of alcohol involved, Uber, be safe, don't drink and drive. God forbid if a drunk driver hits you, call Tominatorlaw.com.
There's really no excuse to drink and drive. Someone said this. I don't know if I was talking to you about it, but Ubers here are probably around $15 to get anywhere. That's the price of 2 drinks at the bar.
Yeah.
You're already out there drinking, so when people try to use the excuse of, I can't afford it, but you just sat here and pounded like 8 lemon drop shots, you can afford it. Just have 2 drinks less because you could save your life and another person's life.
I agree. And some people think, I got to Uber back for the car tomorrow. What's it really costing you? I mean, there's really Uber is when I was a kid, you didn't have a cell phone. Mm-hmm. Okay, you'd have to call a taxi, so you had to find a payphone to call a taxi. They might come in 2 hours and charge you $60 when $60 was a lot of money. I mean, I understand back in the day why people, drove drunk. But there's no excuse anymore.
It's so easy, and at the end of the day, even if it's $100 Uber, is that worth someone's life?
Yeah. Also, I talked about a lot of accidents happen on holidays, like fireworks or barbecuing. Be careful, everybody. Be safe. Enjoy the holiday. And I want to say one last thing before I stop talking about Labor Day is people forget what the holiday is about. The labor movement in this country, and I'm a Republican, and some people think, Republicans are rich and they never worked a day in their life. Like, my dad was a United Auto Workers, UAW. He was really big into the union. Like, we got to go on strike. The companies take advantage of us. I remember when I was a little kid, that they would be talking about it in my house. And other guys in the union would say, "Hey, my father was too militant. You got to calm down, But there was a time in this country where the working person got stepped over bad. Not that long ago, like 1920s, 30s. You didn't like it. They would beat, even your own employer would physically beat up their employees. Like, they had goons working there. Wow. For real. Are you're talking back? We'll beat you with a baseball bat. I mean, this stuff happened. I mean, it's hard to believe. So I give a shout out to the American labor movement. And even when that great resignation during COVID, you remember that? When that came, everyone was quitting their job. Yeah. Let's be honest. We've all had some BS job when we were a young kid where they treated you like crap. Or I remember I had one job at a gas station for $3.35 an hour. And he goes, I'm going to give you a 3-month probationary period. At the end of 3 months, you get a raise or you're fired. I said, okay. So I never missed a day, worked as hard as I could. I thought I did a great job. At the end of the 3 months, he goes, I'm not going to fire you, but I'm not giving you your raise. I'm like, he was just reneging on what he promised. Yeah. And I learned right then how they will beat up the work. And what choice did I have, You
needed the job.
I mean, I wanted the job.
We both had that $3.35 an hour. I had to reservice in tennis courts, having to run a jackhammer. I'd be out in Newport, Rhode Island, getting drunk till back then the bar's open till 2.
Nothing's changed.
Yeah, nothing's changed. Back home at 3 and got the jackhammer in my hand by 7 a.m.
So shout out to everyone that works for a living and holds a job, and it's not easy. And I even though I work for me. I have all the respect for everyone working a job, whatever you do. And tip people good. Like, I'm a good tip. Doesn't matter if they're good looking. People think, I tip the old guys too.
You don't think the girls with the titties get $20 more than the old man? Come on.
Everybody gets a lot. They may get more. All right. Happy Labor Day. Now let's talk sports. We got a lot going on. And we got my man, the TomCast golf and tennis analyst is the same person, my man, Joe McGuill.
He doesn't know what's going on with tennis, but God.
All right. This weekend is really big. it's the last professional golf tournament of the year. Is that right, Joe? The FedEx Cup?
Yeah, that's correct.
The season ends in golf now.
Right,
Because they started like January, like in Hawaii.
Okay. Oh.
And
basically, there's a compilation of the guy that's number one in the FedEx Cup, and basically there's a tally of points. If you win major tournaments, you get more points. So he starts off 10 under par. The next guy, the guy that came in second, starts off 8 under, then 7 under, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then some of the guys in about the top 30. They play. The tournament is worth $100 million purse, and a winner will get $25 million.
And it's held at East Lake Golf Club in Atlanta, outside of Atlanta.
Which all the greens have all been redone. The course has been redone because the players are bitching about it now. Let's get a little run down about the conditions. They're new, and apparently new courses don't have time to germinate and grow the roots and all that stuff. So they're a little bit up in arms. They're kind of a little bit upset they're playing that course,
Because it's old?
No, because it's too brand spanking new.
Oh, it's too new.
Yeah, like when the new golf course, it takes time for the grass to mature.
For the roots, like especially on the greens.
So
What makes them more dense. When they're new, they get dense. It's easier to putt on.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I would have never known
Yeah,
that.
when it's
By the way,
sparse.
shout out to FedEx. Maybe they
Yeah.
want to sponsor the TomCast.
Yeah.
And isn't there like some massive winning?
What's the first place?
$25 million for first. And probably in a total purse of $100 million, there's only 30 people in it. So probably the
what's
guy
last?
that comes in dead, the guy that can go hurt his back, go on the tee, hurt his back, sign his scorecard. You have to sign your card and DQ himself, disqualify himself. Probably takes $400,000.
So they all do get some money no matter what?
yeah.
Okay.
But
It's hard to even get in this
It'll all be
Yeah.
in yeah.
So it's like just that fact that you
When
make
it
it,
starts at 100 people, goes down to 70, then goes to 50, then now down to 30.
Mm-hmm.
And Scotty Scheffler's the favorite.
He's number one. He's number one in the world. He actually won 6 times on tour, the Masters, and he also got an Olympic gold medal. So he's high up for the Player of the Year. The only other one that can kind of compete with him is
Xander
Schauffele, yeah. And
He won 2 majors,
He's in
right?
second. He starts at 8 under. The more under par you are, it's actually an advantage. Normally they all start an even slate. This is a different kind of tournament because it rewards you for how you've done throughout the year.
Yeah.
So, and that's essentially it. And it's always held in Atlanta, Georgia. It's right now 92 degrees.
It's 4 days, right? Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, 92 degrees, and this the heat index is like 100 right now. Even a skinny guy's all sweating out there. People Morgan size are sweating.
Well, we're excited about that. Also, it's a 2-week event. This is week 1. Is the U.S. Open tennis tournament in New York City. There are 4 what they call major tournaments in tennis. The Australian Open in January, the French Open, Wimbledon in London, and then this is the last one, the U.S. Open.
It's always last, yeah.
It's always in September. It goes through Labor Day weekend. We have men's and women's divisions.
Yeah.
The top seed in the men's, Joe, is the Italian.
Sinner.
Yeah, Sinner.
Yes.
Number 2 is Novak Djokovic, who's tied for the most major titles in tennis history.
Yeah, I think he might even be one up. I thought he was one up.
I thought he was tied with Margaret Court.
Oh, okay. All right, you're going to women too. Okay, then you may be right. I know he leads the men, but I don't know. Yeah, he may be tied with Margaret Court. Yeah.
And then number 3 seed is Carlos Alcaraz, who won. He's won the French Open and Wimbledon this year, 2 of the 3 majors.
Yeah.
And he's the number 3 seed.
Yeah.
So the men's side is loaded.
Yeah.
On the women's side, the favorite is from Poland, Swiatek.
Yeah.
And
Anyone
then
from the U.S.?
number 3, who won last year, is from the U.S., Coco Gauff.
Yeah.
She's from Fort Lauderdale area, South Florida, and she won last year. So she's going to have the home crowd. My favorite is the number 2 seed on the women's side is Ariana Sabalenka.
Why?
6 foot tall. She's a hottie. She's from Belarus.
He likes watching him put the balls up.
I was reading about her. Her boyfriend was like a retired hockey player, a lot older than her, like maybe 20 years older than her. He committed suicide earlier this year.
This year?
Yeah. Now, she said they were separated. Maybe that's why he committed suicide.
Oh, my gosh, Tom.
He jumped out of a hotel balcony. It's like, wow. I'm thinking about it. You're a retired hockey player. He made good money.
So he couldn't handle that he had a successful girlfriend.
Your girlfriend is Sabalenka, and you kill yourself. I mean, I'm not making light of suicide. Like, there have been a lot of famous people that have committed suicide. Like, people who on the outside look like they have everything going for them.
Yeah.
Well, when you're listing 4 facts about this guy, you really don't know what's going on
You're right.
behind closed doors. What's up with his family? You know, what happened in his past? Like, it's not as simple as he had a hot girlfriend or whatever.
Best looking female. Remember Anna Kournikova?
Yep.
And she married Emilio. No,
I don't think they ever got married, but they're together. Iglesias.
No, yeah, Enrique Iglesias.
Enrique Iglesias.
That's Jose.
Enrique Iglesias.
I'm no mental health professional, but by far, obviously, but
I'll look him up.
That's a permanent solution. There is help for people that, if you're going through any kind of depression, suicide is a permanent thing. You know, it's never, one thing I learned in life, it's never that good and it's never that bad. You know, whatever your situation is. So the U.S. Open ends not this weekend, but the following weekend, September 9th. So we're in the early rounds right now. So we'll see what happens with that. No prediction, Joe? Who do you like? You like Djokovic?
Probably Djokovic, yeah. Matter of fact, we got several guys betting on it. Someone already took Djokovic, so unless I want to take Sinner, I'm probably going to stay out of the bet.
All right, and more sports. NFL starts Thursday night, September 5th. Baltimore at Kansas City. Now, Kansas City won the Super Bowl. They always have the first game is the Super Bowl champ.
This is the Chiefs.
Yeah.
The Taylor Swift.
So we'll probably be seeing
Travis.
Taylor on Thursday night.
Yeah.
For all those Taylor Swift
So it's not today, it's
and
next
it's at
week.
Kansas City.
Today.
Okay.
Yeah, it's at Kansas City.
Where are you going to be watching?
Oh, it's going to be Thursday night.
That'll be a Thursday night. I'll definitely be at a bar next Thursday night.
Because Thursday night, they don't televise them.
No, they do. That'll be on. That'll be on everywhere. The game that...
When do they stop? There is a game, though. There are football games that don't get televised.
Well, there's a game Friday, a week from tomorrow. A good game, too. Green Bay at Philadelphia. It's on Peacock.
That's what it is, yeah.
That's so annoying.
And I actually looked up this morning. I have Peacock because I don't know what the hell
But don't
I
you
have.
think the
And
bars
some of the
put it on? They'll buy Peacock and say we're streaming
I think
the
there's
game.
rules about that. Like, I don't know how that works.
They do it with the fights. They're always like, oh, we're having the fight on. Like, we have pay-per-view.
But that pisses me off. Like, I understand that the NFL wants to make money and Peacock wants to make money. Everyone wants to make money.
But then let the bars have it. There's no way the bars don't have it.
Oh, yeah.
So you just go watch, just not watching it at home.
They'll get it, but for people that just want to stay home, it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of pissing me off that you can't watch NFL.
It's business.
Yeah, everything's
People
business.
gotta make money.
Everyone wants money. Like, come on.
How much money do you think Peacock paid the NFL to be the exclusive for that game? That's what I would love to know. How did that work?
They're doing that. They're doing that with the big tennis events. Peacock's taking a lot of that too.
Yeah.
They must be paying
some new platform. I want nothing
to
do with it.
What they're paying these golfers is through the roof now. They're quadrupling there. I mean, so
speaking of money,
probably coming from Peacock.
You see our competitive podcaster, the Kelsey brothers, signed a deal with Amazon for $100 million for 3 years.
To do what?
Just like advertise on their podcast.
Oh,
I'm like, hey, Amazon, come to the TomCast. I know the Kelseys don't know anything about women's tennis, right?
No way.
They know anything about the FedEx Cup.
Nope.
Yeah. Joe knows about it. They don't know anything about Wawa.
Oh my God.
Or Grover Cleveland on a $1,000 bill.
Yeah.
See,
you're definitely smarter than the Kelsey brothers. I'll give you that right now.
Taylor Swift.
Maybe not as athletic, but I'll give you the brains.
Bills, 10,000, 5,000, 10,000 bills still. You can't get those.
They don't make them. They're around.
You have one.
I have one. You know who's on that? That'll be the trivia question.
Nah,
you got a $10,000
$10,000 bill.
Yeah.
You really?
I won in a poker game like 1980 something. Not that I ever gambled.
We should play trivia, me and Joe, and whoever wins, we get the bill.
Speaking of trivia, shout out to Cine Bistro.
Just making computer stuff and you got it.
We played movie trivia last night. The Tominators won.
Nice. What was the winning question?
The final category was Emma Stone movies. Do you know Emma Stone?
Emma Stone is Julia Roberts'
No.
niece?
No, that's Emma
Is it
Roberts.
Peel? Is it Peel? Is it Steed and
Emma
Peel? What am I?
Stone.
The Avengers?
That's way before she died.
Okay.
But this actress, Emma Stone, good-looking actress.
Emma Stone.
Oh, the redhead. She's
Yeah.
so good. She was in that.
So
I don't know.
I give a
what it
shout
is.
out to my
La La
teammates,
Land.
Tracy and Jamie, because they named 4 of her movies. You had to put them in order. 2 of the movies I never even heard of.
Easy.
Who were the?
That was one of them.
Who went? You, Tracy, and Jamie.
Yeah. So we won the coveted $50 gift card and
Nice.
movie passes. Now we have we've accumulated a whole bunch of movie passes. We might have Tominator.
Can you turn
Cine
around
Bistro.
for? Can you turn around for booze?
Yeah, they sell booze there. But are there any good movies coming out? What's next?
You know what's coming out this
hell with
weekend
the
is, I don't know if it's good, is Reagan, about the life of Ronald Reagan.
Oh,
Oh,
my
yeah.
God, would love that.
Dennis Quaid plays Ronald Reagan.
Okay. I bet it's a good movie.
So I'm going to go see it just because I got free passes.
Trey would go see that one. He wouldn't be mad at me for bringing him to that Blake Lively one. So we're in.
I had some friends that went to see that, and they actually liked it. I'm like, how drunk were you when you got there? You know?
Yeah. We were drunk and I didn't even like it.
I've never been drunk, so I don't know what you're talking about.
At 4 p.m. Right on.
All right, now we're going to get to our major topic of the day, Morgan. Mm-hmm. This is a pretty. The
you
media's
printed it.
not really running with this.
I can't believe this happened.
So, what day was it? Earlier this
It was
week,
Tuesday.
Mark Zuckerberg, who everybody knows, the company's called Meta.
It's Facebook and they changed to
Instagram.
Meta.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
Meta because
okay.
they own Instagram now also.
Yeah.
And he sent a letter to Jim Jordan, is a congressman. He's the Judiciary Committee chairman of the House of Representatives. He's a pretty well-known congressman. And Zuckerberg sent him a letter saying that, the Biden administration was trying to. Morgan, you would know more about this than I do.
So during COVID, there was a lot of censorship on Facebook and Instagram. So you'd go on and there was things that were being posted, just, free speech about COVID, and it would get deleted. You could post something and they would find those keywords and delete it from your account, from your
okay.
story, from your main page, whatever. And people were mad at Facebook saying, why are you censoring us? Don't do this. What happened to free speech? And this whole time, Mark Zuckerberg defended himself. Well, he comes out with this letter admitting basically that the Biden administration was pressuring him massively to do all of these censorship things that they were doing. And he says he regrets it. And he gave one specific instance. You probably know more about this, Tom, but the FBI warned us about a potential Russian disinformation operation about the Biden family. So they temporarily demoted that story and then found out it was true. And he was like, we should have never demoted that story. And then he posted this letter that he wrote on Twitter, on Facebook, everywhere. So he made this public for everyone to see.
I think it's good that he did this, but my question is why now?
Interesting year choice, right? What's going on this year?
Yeah, right. I don't know. I would have I don't know what Mark Zuckerberg's political affiliation
Clearly
is.
for Trump.
I don't know.
No?
I would have guessed
I feel like this
but-
helps him, though.
Yeah.
But this helps. So I don't get why he did it. But hey, I like when people own up to their mistakes. I'll at least give him, I don't know what
But
is
were
really
they
going on behind
censoring
the
all
scenes.
his stuff because they were spooked about people? Because during the COVID, people were spooked enough about things, and maybe they
It doesn't
want
matter
people-
the reason,
Yeah.
we're supposed to be able to have free speech, say
Yeah,
whatever we
First
want.
Amendment.
Yeah,
But they
yeah, right.
specifically said censor certain COVID content, including humor and satire, and they would express a lot of frustration with our
Yeah.
teams when we didn't agree. And so I don't know what the pressure was, but it was bad enough that, they censored everything. And then they would also put the fact checker thing on there, which is still on Instagram right now. If anything to do with COVID, it'll be like, you better fact check this. This isn't a true comment. And half the time they're actually putting that on facts that are truthful because they're trying to control the narrative.
Well, that goes back. I don't want to say old news, but it goes back to the 1920s and 30s, where at that time it was newspapers were the primary, medium, where the publishers would have one political affiliation or another,
Yeah.
what they said was controlled.
It's tough because then it's all right, yes, we should have free speech, but then there's also like some very hateful things that can go on the internet. But it's like you kind of just have to let people say what they want. Otherwise, it goes against what we're supposed to be able to do, which is free speech.
It's a slippery slope. If you start trying to, I heard something today. I think Ronald Reagan actually said it. Like, if we ever, because of ideology, we either outlaw any political party, like maybe Communist Party or whatever. Mm-hmm. That's dangerous. And the same thing goes with speech. I mean, there are limitations to free speech. Like if you shout fire in a crowded movie theater, is the law school analogy. But I think overall, that's one reason that our country remains free and the best country, in the world is because we have this, free speech, freedom of the press, things like that.
Yeah, and even with the fact checking stuff, and this is a huge issue that happens. You just see so many just false information that really, an article that looks real and it has some title on it and it's actually not true. What you just need to try and be smart to do is fact check yourself. Anything you read, don't just automatically assume that it's real. Go online and do your research before you go and click that share button. Because that does happen. I mean, I see my own dad do it. There will be some post, he thinks it's a true statement, he shares it, and then the comments are like, that's not true, and then you look into it and it's not. So I think people should just try to be more aware of the things that they're sharing, especially when it's serious accusations or whatever it might be. But at the end of the day, you should be able to say whatever you want and post whatever you want to post.
I'm really surprised that, like a company as big as Facebook would allow their management would allow them to be censored.
Well, that's why I wonder what was that pressure. What were they saying to Mark? What did they have on him? They must have some blackmail.
So from now on, we'll never really start seeing Facebook or Instagram. We'll see Meta.
Well, Meta's the parent company.
Okay.
Yeah, they did this whole rebranding.
Okay.
It says it's called Meta now, but it's still, when you go and click the Facebook
it's
app,
a composite of the Meta is just a composite.
I don't really get it. Everyone was confused when it happened.
Yeah.
But it's still the same social media platform.
Well, like you said, at least they owned up to it. It's just convenient that, a couple years later,
why?
Oh, by the way, we did this,
What, has he come out, I haven't seen him on video or anything since then. I'm just interested to know why he did this now. Maybe he learned some facts of things that happened during COVID and it changed his mindset and he thought, I was bamboozled by the Biden administration, so I'm going to come out and speak the truth. Maybe that's what happened.
I have a friend that was telling me that her stepfather died during COVID and he had a heart problem. I think it was heart, for a while. Mm-hmm. And then he died. Went in the hospital, he died, and they on the birth certificate it said COVID, and she was pissed.
You know how many false COVID deaths there were that they labeled? And that was the problem. They were skewing the numbers with people who actually got a pneumonia, and their actual death was from the pneumonia, but they happened to have COVID. There was just cancer patients who happened to have COVID, right? No, you died from cancer, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, it was a weird time, and I hope it's over with and never, ever happens again. But it did bring me to Sarasota.
There you go. Just think that if you hadn't come to Sarasota, you never would have met your future husband.
I know.
You wouldn't have met me and Joe.
Now I'm marrying a roofer. I got 2 good friends. I'm on a podcast. I mean, my life's great since COVID.
And you know what? You're not worried about the end of summer. You can go to the beach in 2 months.
Exactly. Worked out for me.
And actually be nicer. It is today. All right. Well, a lot of good stuff. It's good to be back here. Mm-hmm. At this time, I think we're going to start our post podcast activities. Shout out to Joe's on Main, one of my favorite downtown Sarasota bars. I'm going to go over there and have a couple drinks and start our Labor Day weekend. Everybody, again, be safe, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.